In an era increasingly defined by simulations, one must ask, what does it mean when influence itself is no longer tethered to human presence, but rendered through code and pixels? When Lil Miquela, a virtual CGI-constructed persona, collaborates with Calvin Klein and ignites controversy through a choreographed kiss with a human supermodel, it isn't merely marketing, it's a cultural signal, a rupture, a subtle declaration that presence, identity, and even desirability are no longer exclusively human domains. Across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, synthetic influencers are rising, not as novelties, but as optimized entities in the attention economy. They do not err, age, or dissent. They are built, not born, iterated, not nurtured. And they are being embraced not just by brands, but by millions of followers who engage with them as if they were real. But this raises a question far more unsettling than whether AI can create compelling content. It asks, what happens to the human when influence itself is outsourced to algorithms, when the self becomes a product of data synthesis rather than lived experience? In this exploration, we won't merely chronicle the phenomenon of AI influencers. We'll interrogate its architecture. We'll unpack how these entities are reconfiguring labor, identity, and authenticity. And perhaps more urgently, we'll consider what their proliferation reveals about our collective appetite for the seamless, the controllable, and the unreal. Are AI influencers a symptom of progress, or a mirror reflecting our abandonment of the imperfect, unpredictable human condition? To understand the rise of AI influencers is to confront a paradox at the heart of modern culture. We yearn for authenticity, yet reward artifice. We bemoan the superficiality of influencer culture, yet embrace personas sculpted by software. Why? Lil Miquela, Imma, Ludo Magalu, these are not mere gimmicks. They are artifacts of a larger ontological shift. Each is crafted with surgical precision. From the hue of their digital skin to the cadence of their captions, every aspect is calibrated to maximize resonance within specific demographic psychographics. Their creators, whether branding firms or algorithmic collectives, play the role not of narrators, but of engineers of emotional engagement. And their effectiveness is quantifiable. Virtual influencers now command engagement rates up to 3 times higher than their human counterparts. But this isn't merely due to novelty. It's a function of control. They are immune to scandal, immune to fatigue. Their identities are static yet adaptable, untouched by the chaos of lived experience. In an age where identity is fluid, these constructs offer something perversely stable. But therein lies the disquiet. These influencers perform vulnerability without ever having suffered. They embody diversity without history, without trauma. They are simulacra, signs that reference no original. And the public, perhaps fatigued by the messiness of human creators, accepts the illusion. This is not a tale about innovation. It is about erasure. What happens when the emotional labor traditionally tied to human existence, beauty, charisma, storytelling, is mechanized, stripped of origin, and rendered infinitely replicable? At its core, this shift is not artistic. It is infrastructural. The move from human to synthetic is driven by a logic as old as capitalism itself. Reduce volatility, maximize yield. For brands navigating a minefield of public relations disasters, AI offers riskless consistency. Human influencers can err. They can speak unsanctioned truths. They can collapse under the weight of their own persona. But synthetic personas do not misstep. They are modular. They are compliant. They are, in the truest neoliberal sense, scalable assets. Platforms such as Deep Agency now enable brands to generate virtual models for a fraction of traditional production costs. These digital beings do not unionize. They require no healthcare. Their appearance is eternally adaptable. Even their beliefs, if one dares to use that word, can be A/B tested and optimized. But this systemic efficiency comes at a price not measured in dollars: the death of creative risk. Human creators are disruptive precisely because they are flawed, contradictory, political. Their genius often emerges from fracture. Remove the fracture, replace it with polished code, and you sterilize the medium itself. And perhaps that's the point. Brands no longer need the unpredictable artist. They need brand-safe storytellers who won't deviate from script. AI fits the bill with unnerving perfection. This shift forces a reckoning. Are we building a future where creativity is defined not by expression, but by alignment with algorithmic expectations, where the ideal creator is not one who feels, but one who conforms? And if so, who benefits from such a system? AI influencers do not simply entertain, they expose the ideological scaffolding of our digital culture. They reveal how identity itself has become commodified, divorced from subjectivity, and reconstructed as aesthetic. Take, for instance, the troubling phenomenon of digital cultural appropriation. AI avatars often borrow liberally from marginalized aesthetics, braided hairstyles, street slang, indigenous motifs, all without consequence, context, or credit. They simulate the appearance of diversity while being engineered by largely homogeneous tech teams. What does it mean when the struggle, the history, and the humanity of an identity are stripped away, leaving only a marketable shell? We are witnessing a crisis not merely of representation, but of reality itself. In place of embodied experience, we are offered proxies. The AI influencer does not think, feel, or resist. It reflects back only what it has been trained to reflect. It is mirror without memory, presence without personhood. And yet, audiences engage, not because they are deceived, but because they are complicit in the performance. This raises unsettling questions. Have we become so alienated from one another that we prefer simulations over the discomfort of real connection? Has the algorithm not only shaped our consumption, but hollowed out our empathy? And consider this, if we applaud AI influencers for their activism, their relatability, or their resilience, are we not trivializing those very traits in the humans who genuinely embody them? Perhaps what we're confronting is not a technological challenge, but a philosophical one. In outsourcing identity to machines, are we mechanizing the soul itself, or are we merely revealing that the soul, at least in commodified digital culture, was always performative? In the rise of AI influencers, we glimpse more than a technological trend. We glimpse a civilizational inflection point. Here, at the crossroads of simulation and subjectivity, we must ask not what these synthetic personas can do, but what they reveal about us. They reveal our growing discomfort with the unpredictable, our retreat from the messy, fragile, beautiful imperfection of human existence, our appetite for frictionless narratives over the complicated truths of lived experience. But technology alone is not the villain. It is a mirror. A system reflects the values that gave it life. And if AI influencers flourish, it is because we, individually and collectively, have prioritized polish over presence, control over contradiction, marketability over meaning. This is not a call to reject artificiality, nor to romanticize the human. It is a call to interrogate the terms of our engagement, to ask who shapes our perceptions, who benefits from their curation, and who gets erased in the process. As we move forward, the question is not whether AI influencers will replace us. The more profound question is, what will we relinquish, willingly or unconsciously, in allowing them to stand in for us?